Hello and welcome to Ask Mayor Miller. Each month, Macon-Bibb County Mayor Lester Miller sits down with us and answers questions from the public and from the journalists from the Center for Collaborative Journalism. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Mayor. I know we're at the home team today here at the Mercer Studios, but thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
We're taping this ahead of the crossover day at the Georgia General Assembly. So are there any bills that you fear won't make it for a vote this session?
Well, I don't have any real fears about some not making it. I think sometimes during election year you play more defense than you do offense. However, we do have a local bill that I'm very anxious about going before crossover. I'm not sure it has to go before crossover, but certainly our senior exemption bill, which is one that I helped drafted and supported in Macon-Bibb County, is at the state level now. And I think our representative, Tangia Heron, is pushing that through, and she's been working with Legislative Council. So we're looking forward to having a local vote on that and taking it before the full legislative bodies and get through this year so we can have a referendum in November.
For those who don't recall what that is, can you walk us through the rollback for seniors?
Sure. So basically what we wanted to do is to give our seniors starting at age 65 a break up until the age of 85. It's a graduated decrease in property taxes. For many, it will drop off immediately at 65. So there's the county portion and the school portion. So someone 65 and older can begin to either get reduced or completely wipe out all their school taxes or their county taxes, depending on the value of their house. There are no income restrictions on this, so everyone qualifies, but they must register as a homestead property as soon as this passes. But it'll be on for November referendum for the citizens of Macon-Bibb County to vote on. If it passes, it'll begin in 2027.
And of course, we haven't heard anything about the proposed third term or equalizing the mayor's term with the county commissioner's term either. Do you have any idea why Representatives Washburn and Paris and Griffin aren't supporting a charter change?
Well, I'm not sure who's supporting, who's not supporting, because they haven't taken a vote. We still have time for that. It's not my priority. It's something that passed by the commission. Certainly, if it doesn't happen this year, it could die or it could start again next year. So it's really my main concern this year is the homestead exemption that we do for our seniors. It's most important to me. Everything else will take care of itself. I think each of the legislators, they're elected countywide through Bibb County like we are, and they've heard the wishes of the majority of the commission, and hopefully they'll do their job either this year or next year. But you know, things happen. This is an election year too. I think at least 3 of those folks have their own elections this year, both in the primary and the general election. So we'll see what happens this year. If not, we'll look at next year as a possibility as well.
How did Macon Day go a couple of weeks ago?
Well, for most everybody, it was great. I was a little bit under the weather that day, had a little bout of norovirus followed by some pneumonia. So it's been a rough couple of weeks for me during that period of time. Very good remarks, positive comments from all the legislators that attended. Very good showing for people in Macon. We brought a lot of people, 2 bus loads there. There's lots of recognitions there, lots of contacts made. Lots of good fun, food, and fellowship. So I think it's a very successful day, even beating last year's numbers and looking forward to beating these numbers next year.
I saw that the Greater Macon Chamber of Commerce is planning a trip to Iceland. Are you in on that? And what do you think that they want to accomplish?
Well, you'd have to talk to our chamber president on that. I'm certainly not going to be going to Iceland anytime soon, but I do, whatever the chamber does, usually whatever they touch turns to gold. So whatever they decide they want to do, I think we'll be all in support of that. No out-of-town trips for me right now.
Hey, staying home. We're also in the middle of early voting for the March 17th special election in District 5, where former Mayor Pro Tem Seth Clark resigned to run for Lieutenant Governor. Now, District 8's Donis Bryant-Cato has been criticizing your support of Andrea Cook due to her having served on one of your nonprofits, and then also her Southern Center for Choice Theory has been instrumental in the Macon Violence Prevention Program. So what do you have to say to that?
Nothing really. It's all politics. Ms. Bryant herself had her own conflicts when she worked at the Bibb County Jail. She worked there as an officer, so certainly she was drawing an income while she was running for office with Macon-Bibb County. There's no conflict. First of all, there's no conflict anyway. Second of all, there's no conflict until the time you get elected. So if Ms. Cook is successfully getting elected, she'll address whatever issues she needs to. Already she resigned from the mental health matters portion of that. It's her mother's company, by the way, not hers. And the board that she spoke about, she also resigned for that before she even decided to run. So one thing Ms. Cook wanted to do is be open and transparent and make sure that she didn't put herself in any potential conflicts. We've talked to local council, there's no conflicts. You've got probably 3 or 4 different commissioners that are supporting 3 or 4 different candidates. which is within all of our rights to do so. In the end, the person that wins, we're all going to have to work with. So Ms. Bryant, subsequently, she has her own opinions. I have my own opinion, and certainly when you look at that list of people, in my opinion, Andrea Cook's the most qualified.
Now, of course, Seth Clark recently suspended his campaign for lieutenant governor. Do you have any idea? Have you talked to him about what his future plans may be?
No, I think Seth's a grown man. He can make his own decisions. Certainly,
we don't have Ask Seth Clark, though, so
Yeah.
I just thought I'd ask you if
certainly,
you knew anything.
Seth's going to do what is right for he and his family, and I think he made that decision based upon that. He did an exploratory committee. He started raising funds. He was very successful early on doing that and qualifying with this week, and I think at that time he decided that he was going to do what's right for his family, and that's not look for that state role to concentrate on his family and doing things locally. So we certainly respect that right. He was a great commissioner, great mayor pro tem, and we wish him all the best.
Now, it's a strange month for scheduling Macon-Bibb County Commission meetings due to some out-of-town training, but will there actually be a commission meeting in March?
Oh, certainly. We'll have a call meeting probably going to be March the 18th if I had to pick it right now. But unfortunately, the 3rd and the 17th commissioners already have meetings out of town. Some of that requires some training that they're required to go to, and the majority of them will go there, so we wouldn't have a quorum. But we'll be able to get everything done in one meeting. We've done that very often, maybe a long meeting, but certainly it'll be there. By that time, we may have a new commissioner. Who knows? Could be a runoff. Who knows that as well? But I think the 17th is out of the question because most commissioners won't be back that evening, but I'm looking at the 18th right now for our next meeting.
I imagine 50% plus one with that field of candidates could be hard to accomplish, so we'll see. Now, both Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful and the Macon-Bibb County Transit Authority have vacancies on their boards awaiting appointments. What's next in the process for those?
I don't know if I'm aware of anybody for the Macon Transit Authority on that board. I think recently we agreed to put Ms. Rachel Holler back on that board. I think that was the lone candidate. We informed Transit Authority of that. I'm not sure if we took an official vote or not, but she's my recommendation to fill that position. Keep Macon-Bibb Beautiful, that board's a little different. It's had some challenges on getting quorums there. So the last thing you want to do is increase the number of people when you face challenges for people already showing up. But I understand that that group has reached out to my office and trying the hopes of setting up a meeting with us to see if we can add a few more people to their board. They have to remember the process and procedure, and that goes to the mayor's office. It's not a decision they make on their own. But at the same time, we want to make sure we get good quality people on that board, that a recommendation comes from the mayor's office and voted on by a full commission. So we'll be addressing that probably sometime in March or April.
So you're saying Rachel Holler-Umana is going back on the Transit Authority?
That's correct.
Okay, wow. I didn't think they knew that on Tuesday or last week. Now, we also have a comment from Tim Harrell suggesting that there's a ton of money in unpaid business licensing fees that haven't been collected in the past 10 years. That's before you were in office. So are you aware of that, or are there any kind of efforts to make those collections?
I think we have a very good success rate on getting those fees paid. Previously, they were not handled by Wade McCord's office, and once he got involved in it, some of those people that owe money from the past are businesses that are no longer in existence. But I think we're pretty current on most of the businesses we have. They have a very good enforcement process now. In the last couple of years, I'm not aware of very many that are still in business that are operating without a business license. So sometimes if people have that information, they certainly can give that to our tax commissioner. He'll be looking into that, but I'm not aware of any large numbers anywhere outside of that period of time where they did have some issues a few years ago where they had some problems with their system and changing over from the way it used to be handled to the way it's handled now. So we've had very good success on that. Certainly something I'd be happy to look into myself because we want to make sure that people pay in their fair share. But Wade McCord and his office does a very good job. They're very efficient over there, and I'd be willing to bet that they're on top of things.
Now, speaking of being on top of things, they're also picking up new collections for the increased blight tax this year and also for the occupation tax. Do you know how those are going, those collections?
I think, as far as I know, everything's going well. We project anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000 per month that will come in through the occupation tax. Of course, that's for tourism. That money goes into our general fund, but it'll be spent on things like perhaps debt service for a new arena, a new convention center, improvements over in the mall area, those types of things that we'll eventually have a board probably set up for that. But we're early on in the process. We're only on, month 2, month 3 on that now, but I know we had about $100,000 come in the first month. That did not come that didn't include the Airbnbs and the VRBOs. So as people get more educated on the process, you'll see that number go up over a period of time. The blight tax is something that we basically increased the amount because we have cut the millage rate in half. We didn't want to reward the bad actors, so we basically increased that amount to be the equivalent millage rate. We also added the school system there. Part of the homestead exemption that I talked about for the seniors, one of those revenue replacements is through the blight tax for people who are non-homestead property that are have blighted properties that are detrimental to our neighborhoods and to our communities. And we want them to do right by fixing up their buildings, and this is going to create an incentive for them to do so.
Sounds good. And of course, that's more money coming in, like you said, to fund those other improvements that are going to be building tourism and increasing revenue. It's just kind of like it feeds itself.
That's doing what it's supposed to do.
Now, there was a meeting of the Downtown Macon Community Association this week, and a lot of the business owners were talking about issues with the unhoused population. Specifically, some raised concerns about vagrants going in and damaging businesses and vacant buildings, like I think we saw with the old Tubman Museum. Also, I've heard the Crazy Bull and even a property that Newtown is part owner of. So what can be done if people are going into these vacant buildings and trashing them unawares, it seems?
Just enforcement. I mean, we have to make sure that sheriff continues to do their job and does enforcement on there, that we make sure that we hold owners responsibility for properly securing their buildings, to make sure that they're boarded up, they're locked up, there's cameras in the area. We still have our issues with those experiencing homelessness around the community. We think that the new bill that they have at the state to create a mental health hospital again will help out on that area there. We got some new funding that the governor has put into the budget, specifically targeting people like Macon-Bibb County who puts money in to programs like that, so we can match those funds. We expect to get a grant on that. We also continue to work with our Newtown Macon, and they have hired a person that's going to be doing some coordination along with ours. And Jake Hall continues to do a good job for us to coordinate things. So right now we got the interstate project downtown. It really puts a backlog in a lot of the work that we're trying to do because we kind of boxed in there. As soon as that project is completed in the next 10 to 12 months on the downtown portion, we'll be fully up to date with our code enforcement, which will be fully public safety then. They've got an expanded office that they're going to be opening up in City Hall. We're building that out now through Stafford Construction. We make sure we got enough equipment and cars and training for them. So you'll see some increased shifts for code enforcement, new officers there, and increased responsibilities for them as well.
Because we do have a lot of different agencies that are trying to manage and help the unhoused population. You know, we have Brookdale, and we have the sheriff, we have code enforcement, we have EMA is even involved when it comes to the campsites and things like that. And you mentioned Jake Hall with Route Analytics. Now, it's my understanding that that contract with him expires at the end of this month. So is there a provision to renew that contract, or is there ever going to be like kind of a centralized person that you can contact and have that filter down? Because they were like, do we call the sheriff? Do we call code enforcement? Do we call EMA? Do we call who?
Well, there's multiple responsibilities. It really depends on the situation.
It does,
Right
because
now,
they said if it's like a crime or something,
Right.
That's the sheriff's office. But
If it's a crime, certainly you're always going to call the sheriff. They're the executive officer as far as constitutional office as far as crime is concerned. If it's general harassment downtown or encampments, typically we get our resource department with Jake Hall involved, the Route Analytics. We get our homeless coalition involved and our code enforcement involved because Public Works in our office has to handle some of those cleanups. And sometimes if it's just strictly those experiencing homelessness that are chronic, we get River Edge involved and our medical professionals there. And of course, a lot of it has to do with people that are in and out of jail as well. So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. Every situation is very unique. We do have a coordinated effort, and it's working out a lot better than it used to be. But right now, we just, there's multiple things going on now. You got FIFA in Atlanta, so you're starting to see a few more people come here that are getting shipped, for lack of a better word, from Atlanta that we have to look at. And we have a lot of people who want to do nice things for people that are experiencing homelessness in Macon, but certainly we don't need people giving out stuff on every corner and basically enabling people to do certain things. So there's a lot going on with it. We have a great team. Everybody's real compassionate about doing the work. We just have to make sure that we're streamlining everything and we're on the right page.
And you mentioned the transients, because that was one of the things that came up, that there used to be just like a handful of people that everybody knew downtown, and you knew their kind of issues and how to deal with them. But now, like as you said, we're at this crossroads with the interstate and all of that as well. There was also some talk about a proposed downtown entertainment district. I've heard that talked about for years, but I understand that there is a proposal that may be coming before the county commission. Do you know anything that you can share about that?
Not really. It's been talked about for a while, looking at entertainment districts, looking at some different authorities, whether it be an entertainment authority or a sports authority, to divide up downtown in certain districts for residential, for entertainment venues, for et cetera, medical. So you can kind of separate some things and change some rules there. It's something people have always been interested in. The problem is a lot of times people want to put forth themselves as the people that want to run this, and it gets a little bit difficult because they have personal interest in state downtown. So I think we're going to continue to have those conversations. I wouldn't look to see anything happen this year, but certainly for the years to come, it's something we're always going to consider.
Shirley Randall wants to suggest that you find grants or business donations for a summer work program for teens from low-income families. She thought it would be a good idea to have them work in the county recreation centers or with children's camps. What do you think? Is that something that could be possible?
Well, certainly we'd like to hire all the teens that we can. We feel like if they've got a good skill and they got some money in their pocket, it kind of helps do some things. Unfortunately, the county can't take on minor children, kids at a certain age. A lot of the companies we deal with, because of OSHA requirements and other type of requirements, there's too much liability. So there are many jobs that kids under the age of 18 cannot do.
I see.
We've been doing more internships, some of those paid, some of those unpaid, more GCAPS type program, more after school programs. More working with people like Chick-fil-A and other folks that will hire people as well to try to get some of our teens jobs off the streets, or at least give them some walking around money is what we like to call it. So certainly any grants that are available, we can do that. We do have a local workforce development that we deal with that hires teens and others, but really the liability issue and the age around certain equipments and around certain types of environments are not suitable for kids under age of 18. And unfortunately, it's not like we used to do a little work program where we were coming up and we could go to the local McDonald's and work at a grill. A lot of times now you got adults that are fighting for those jobs because of the increased pay and the increased economics and inflation and things like that. So it's a tougher environment for those kids these days. But we're creating more opportunities for internships, more opportunities for jobs, but really the liability is the problem that we have there with the age.
And I know you've invested a lot of money in recent years through the SPLOST and whatever at the different recreation centers, so there's always plenty of activities for the youth, but maybe not paying jobs.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that says we don't have activities for our youth is just, they don't know what they don't know. I mean, we have 40, 50 different organizations, museums, after-school programs, music programs, sports programs, all of our recreation centers. There's just numerous things that can do. We've got all that information on 1 or 2 sheets if somebody wants to reach out to get that out. And of course, our Macon Violent Prevention has a lot of programs that we fund, a lot of programs that are looking for volunteers, but also looking for students to go through some of those mentorship programs as well. So I think that there's plenty of opportunities out there. There's also plenty of jobs out there. People that claim that they can't get a job may not be looking hard enough, because just about everywhere I see is looking for employment. They start out salaries anywhere from $12 to $15, $16 for a teenager. That's a lot of money. Not meant to be career jobs. Certainly not going to feed a family for the rest of your life off that type of money, but for some good summer money, I think those are good places to go to.
I had an email from Joy. She didn't leave her last name, and sometimes we get these emails and then they're answered by the time we tape our program. But she wanted to know what was happening with the old Jesse Rice School over there, and wanted to know, what the next steps were. Actually, the Next Step Macon organization plans to put some affordable housing there on Jesse Rice Street in the old, I think for a little while it was Morgan Elementary, as they were consolidating and such. So are you aware of any other housing efforts like that are taking old buildings? And we saw it with several of the different school buildings in town.
Well, there's several potential out there. You got Jesse Rice, you've got at least one other school. I think it was
Joseph and Neil, same company is doing.
Over there off of Hightower, that area over there off of Pinona. They're, I think Sam Data may have been the person who reached out through the school system, purchased that building. Want to look to convert that. Cynthia Ware is another one that people have looked at before. Elementary school there to try to turn that into affordable housing. A couple of these abandoned commercial businesses people are looking at for housing, as well as older hotels. So there's people trying to be creative on doing that. You have to go through planning and zoning. You have to be careful, though. Don't take a good place like Tom Hill Senior Boulevard, take a hotel, turn it into one of those day-by-night kind of places that creates a lot of bad elements and crime and things of that nature that runs businesses over there. So you have to make sure that you really manage those types of things. But I see all kind of ways to be creative, but also see a lot of housing and permits being done. There's a lot of new expanding housing off of Houston Avenue, South Bibb County, out by Toby Sofke, North Macon, and even now some creeping into East Macon because of all the speculation that's going over there. So you'll see a lot more housing, not just apartment complex, but single housing developments as well that are popping up now, and our permits are showing that.
I've seen just in my little commute over here to Mercer, Napier Heights, you see houses that have been deteriorating. Some of them have been torn down, but others are being renovated.
So Napier Heights is one of those new areas that we're focusing on with Newtown Macon, historic Macon, all those people coming together. There's going to be 100 houses in the next 18 to 24 months in the area. It's a very targeted area. There's been many of neighborhood meetings that we've had with that, public engagement meetings, fish fries, et cetera, to kind of see what the neighborhood wants, what they think they need in the area, what they like to see in their area. Things are moving, and there's some funding there too. So we're very excited about working with Habitat and other places to put lots of houses over near where Central High School and Lanier and Miller, that whole neighborhood around Holt Avenue all the way to Pine Honor there. So I think there's going to be a lot more building coming up. I think that some of these other things about putting them in schools are all good for multi complexes, but we still need these single houses that people can build wealth and have a home that they can acquire to grow a family in, and not just all the duplexes that we have.
Circling back to the legislature, have you heard anything about the low-income housing tax credits? I know that there is a big push from Newtown and historic Macon to double the amount of money that will be available through the Department of Community Affairs.
Well, we certainly supported a resolution that we sent there ourselves. We have reached out to our local delegation. I think one of our local delegation members has helped pass some legislation, at least get it up to the forefront, Dr. Anissa Jones. So I think that we are moving the needle forward there. It's all about the budget and the money they have in the state. That's one of those things we are watching for the 6th for crossover day. So that and the bill that fell yesterday, there was a big bill, a tax bill yesterday. That's I think the Home Act that the Speaker Burns called. That's going to completely eliminate all property taxes and school taxes for everyone. That bill did not pass. I think it failed. All Republicans passed it. One Democrat, which happened to be a local Democrat, Tangia Herring, agreed to that. And I think the entire Democratic caucus disagreed with that bill. So it did not pass on its first go around, something they may consider by the end of the week, and that can have some effect on Macon-Bibb County and other cities.
As we're talking about vacant buildings, are there plans on the books yet to demolish the Secretary of State's office there?
I hope it happens this month. I think March will be a good month for it. We've gotten, I think, final approval from the utilities to make sure everything's been cut off over there. And we've arranged for our own in-house demo on that project.
So it's not a blow-up kind of thing.
It's not going to be
not recruiting Hollywood to blow up that building or anything.
No, it's going to be your big heavy equipment, and it's going to be taken down in a very efficient manner. We're going to save money because we're doing it ourselves, and I expect to hopefully begin that process in March.
And I know we talk about this every time, but I guess East Bank is still waiting for a decision from Congress. Any kind of movement, anything you're hearing about the national park?
Well, I don't think East Bank is waiting on Congress. I do think it gets more excitement around that time. East Bank is now tied to the arena. So, the first phase of the arena, you'll have to use that Secretary of State parking area there until the Coliseum actually comes down. So we project the first 6 months of the arena operations that some of the parking will be off-site and we'll transport people back and forth until we get the Coliseum down. So that's one reason not to have anything there. Plus, we've got people that want to buy every part of that East Bank. We want to do it all together. We want to do one whole project together, not piecemeal it, so we really can tie everything together. We can get the benefit we need to for the East Macon, for the TAD, and for the community instead of just selling one piece off at a time. We want to be part of a whole strategic plan together with the park that we have there and together with potentially a future national park there and an additional entrance.
Of course, we're cruising right in cherry blossom time. What do you look forward to most this time of year?
Well, this time of the year, I look forward to cherry blossom, to be honest with you. I think there's lots of events. People coming from out of town is very exciting to see new people. Everyone breaking out their pink and wearing their pink, kicking off with the ball and finishing up around the parade. But really the fellowship that people have in our community, the new people coming outside of our community, because they're some of our biggest supporters. Believe it or not, people outside our community love Macon-Bibb County. They give it all kind of compliments. They're excited when they come here. They're excited when they leave here. And certainly they spend some money while they're here. Stacy Moore and her crew does an excellent job of bringing just people but money into our community. We grow our digest every year around this time. Hotel motel tax, our sales tax, and that goes to benefit public safety, to our school systems, to our projects. So I'm very excited about this year's Cherry Blossom. We always want great weather. I made some great improvements at Carolyn Creighton Park, some new lighting. We've taken care of some buildings there. the koi pond, those types of things there that people want to see, ball fields there. And of course, right outside there at the entrance there, I hope people are starting to notice that we're doing that parking lot there where the batting cage in Norfolk Southern used to be. We won't have it paved by then, but we'll definitely have it gravel by then. It'll be paved right after. And then eventually right after that, we'll do the whole road and the sidewalk there. I've seen some new sidewalks already there. So it'll be a grand entrance into Carolyn Creighton Park, something we all can be proud of. And we're addressing all the other issues there outside the park as well.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for joining us during this important springtime in Macon, Georgia. And we want to thank you as well for being part of our program each and every month. And the best thing you could do is ask a question for Mayor Miller. All you have to do is email to mercerccj@gmail.com, and we'll get you some answers next month. Thanks for joining us.